Like the lockdown was when I realized that a lot of my time, it is not yielding value. During the pandemic, I created these videos that I'm posting right now, which led me to super meme, and that's the whole life I have right now. When you communicate a message through humor, you look at it in a completely different lens, right? For example, the reason I do my videos is that if you go into super meme and you put in a situation, you will find a meme that you can use.
Let people know that whatever weird interest that you have, you can actually, monetize that interest in whatever the way that you are comfortable with. With your story, just interested in memes. You were into product. You just combined. How do you convince me to implement an idea? Thank you so much, Sanjeev, for joining me.
Thank you, Rahul. Been a big fan, and I'm glad that I get a chance to be on your podcast because you're one of the OG podcasters.
Am I? I don't know. I just talk to people and then record and put it online. Do you call that as a podcast? Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I'll let you introduce about yourself, but we had an amazing conversation one day before, completely about SaaS, because I just got into SaaS and I'm super excited. I don't know whether my idea will work out or not, but I'm going to keep grinding till some idea. Again, thank you so much for joining, and I would love to know about your stories. I got to know that you were into marketing for a long time and you got into microsas, which is a super meme.ai.
Yeah.
It's basically you let AI create a meme for marketing purpose.
Yes.
Obviously, you did not like reach here just like that. You might have had a very long story. I would love to hear what your story from the start to where you are today and what
Okay.
super meme does today.
Okay.
Especially the revenue. I want
Okay.
all the insights that you hold.
Sure. Sure, definitely. So, like my journey, like professional journey started about 10 years back. And I finished college in 2013, studied IT, but then I don't know how to code. So that is not exactly something I'm proud of. But I finished IT, got into Capgemini, moved to Hyderabad and spent 2 years in Bangalore in a customer support role. And then I wanted to move back to Chennai. So that's when I joined Freshworks. So back then it was called Freshdesk, and I had no idea what a product company or a service company. I had no distinction. I just wanted to move back to Chennai, and I came here and I joined Freshdesk. So that was my introduction as a customer support rep. So that was the role that I joined as. So in Freshdesk is when I got introduced to the world of SaaS, like product companies and software as a service. So within Freshdesk, I spent 2 years in pre-sales. So the moment I joined as customer support, I heard that there is this role called pre-sales, where your job is to convince customers and show them that your product solves their problem. So you work with the sales rep, but you're on the technical side. So that was my role for 2 years. And while I was in
They
that
call
role,
it as business development associate nowadays.
yeah, you have BAs and business analysts, and the name
Anything,
can vary.
yeah, anything without sales in it.
Yeah. So but your job is you're not trying to get money from them, but then you're trying to show them that, hey, this product will work for you. Whatever that you are considering will work for you. So my day would usually be like I would get on calls and then show the product. So I'd spend 1 hour just showing the software around and telling them that this is how you can use it, this is how you can use it. And I spent 2 years doing that. And then after that, while I was doing that itself, I used to write blogs. I used to write blogs and I used to present at conferences, which was new both for me and also for the industry itself, because I used to work in a very technical industry where an average conference presenter's age was easily or their experience would be 20, 25 years. And there I was hardly 5 years into my corporate career and doing presentations at global stages. I used to travel a lot for these presentations. Actually, that's when I started using memes professionally. I would use memes in these presentations and it would land well because no one was expecting that. They were expecting bar charts and bullet points and some random data points on a deck. But then there I was with a full screen, and it was a full screen meme, right? So you can imagine that in a huge stage where there's some 10 feet tall, like a presentation. And then I would be there with a full screen meme and everyone would be shocked. And then they will eventually laugh, which kind of made me realize that, okay, I can make people laugh. And second, memes and especially humor has a potential in business. So that is the area that this could.
You started this whole meme creation during the presentation, or like you were doing side by and then you wanted to implement that in your professional career?
So memes is something that I've been creating, I think even before they were called memes, like back in my college days where memes weren't very popular, but I would still do random things. Like I would download like, movie images from the internet and try to add my own captions to it. Actually, even before that, when I was in school, I used to cut out random images from like magazines, and then I would write my own captions underneath it. So maybe it started even back then, right? I always
Yeah.
had this thing about connecting unrelated things. That is what memes do. Like meme templates, it connects things in an unexpected way, and that's where the humor comes from. So I was always doing that, and I brought it into my work also. See, at the end of the day, it's not about bringing memes into work. I wanted to communicate a message. And memes is my strength, and it also works as a way to effectively communicate your message so that it reaches more people. So that's the reason that I thought, okay, maybe this will go well, and I tried it. It worked. So that way it worked out well for me. So yeah, I was doing that. I was doing presentations, and which naturally led me to my product marketing path. So I spent 2 years doing product marketing, and then after that, I joined one more startup where I spent 2 years doing product management. So for me at that point, I always wanted to be a product manager because I thought product managers get to build products. But yeah, turns out product management, like just because you're a product manager, you don't get to build products. So we'll come to that later.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be a product manager, and that was a very glamorous role, not just for me, for everyone around. And I got that. I joined SuperOps.ai as an early product manager. So it was like we were building the product from scratch. It was an amazing experience. And while I was in SuperOps, I started SuperMeme.ai as a side project where me, Ramshree, and Nico. So these are my co-founders. So
No,
I
wait,
met them.
this is when you were, I don't know, 5 years of your experience or 7 years of your experience?
Okay, when I started SuperMeme.ai, I was about like 8, 9 years. I think this was in 2021. So yeah,
Okay.
probably 8 years, 8 years
Why
of my
why
experience.
exactly did you decide, like you wanted to move out of the corporate job? Is that the intention or?
No, no, definitely not. Because see, when I joined SuperOps, obviously the startup experience is something that I wanted. But at that time, it was a side project because I saw that actually it was not even something that I started, right? So I was just on LinkedIn. I was posting like videos on LinkedIn. I still post funny videos on LinkedIn where I make fun of office meetings, where I make fun of product management. So that is what I was known for. And because of that, my network increased. And that's how I met one of my co-founders, Ramshree, who is an AI expert. Like he has his own product. And he recently presented at Google I/O as well, like in Bangalore. So he's deep into AI. And this is in 2021, before ChatGPT. So the lot of AI knowledge and terms that we throw around today weren't very common. So back then, I had no idea that AI could even create memes. But he saw my work and he saw that I like posting memes, I like posting humorous videos, and he was experimenting with an AI meme generator idea. And meanwhile, I was building my own no code AI meme search engine. So the problem that I wanted to solve was it's hard to find meme templates for the situations that you want. So how can I make that easy? So I was just building an no code product because I don't know how to code, but I want to solve for that. So both of us saw each other's work, and then we got on a call together. And then we felt like you want to build an AI meme generator. I want to build something around memes. And we have complementary skills. Let's work together. And we wanted a full stack developer to help us build the product. So we found Nico on Twitter, who was also running his own side project. So he was already doing his side project. So the three of us
The Nico
got
guy
together
is from New Zealand.
from Netherlands.
Netherlands, okay. But
yeah, from Netherlands.
How did you get connected with them?
Yeah, Ramsey knew Nico from Twitter. So I didn't know Nico directly, so Ramsey knew him. So he kind of brought us together, and then we got on a call, and then we got on a WhatsApp group. And yeah, we've been running the company on this WhatsApp group for 2.5 years. We still haven't met each other. So in fact, I've like Ramsey is right here in Hyderabad. Didn't get a chance to meet him. I did go to Netherlands, but then didn't get a chance to meet Nico. I was on a vacation, so we have crossed paths at times, but then we didn't get a chance to meet. But in some ways, I'm actually proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that we're able to run a company that has so far generated around $80,000 lifetime and is generating $50,000 per year. And we're able to do that on a WhatsApp group without ever having to meet each other. It breaks a lot of myths that people think about building software and building SaaS, right? So I think I'm proud of the fact that we haven't met each other yet, but I think at some point we probably should. It's been a long time.
No, I even did not meet my co-founder yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we know each other for 1 year. We started working 3 months before. We never met.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. See, yeah, this is a model that can totally work.
Yeah. Yeah. Please carry on.
Yeah. So that's and then what happened with Super Meme and I was in SuperOps. So towards and in between, obviously pandemic happened, right? We spent a lot of time at home. Like the lockdown was when I realized that a lot of my time is going in places where, it is not yielding value. For example, let's say if I was in office, I would spend a lot of time in meetings. I would spend a lot of time in unofficial meetings where you just sit around a table and talk. I would spend a lot of time convincing other people about my ideas. So I spend a lot of time in trying to get results, but actually not getting anything done, right? But during the lockdown, I suddenly had all this time on my hands and I started realizing what I can do. So during the pandemic, I created these videos that I'm posting right now, which led me to Super Meme, and that's the whole life I have right now. I also built, I'm a big Collywood fan. So I used to host Collywood quizzes on Instagram, which again got me a lot of new friends. I used to post a lot of IT Tamil memes on Twitter, which got me a lot of a lot of new friends and a lot of new connections that I even today I'm able to leverage. And I built an Instagram filter.
Why do you do that?
I mean, I like doing it. I even today, just before this call, I posted a meme. Like Microsoft had an outage, and then I just posted a meme about it.
So you just want to convey a message in an interesting way. That's what you are trying to do.
In a funny way, and more than that, it's also sometimes on autopilot, right? Like my brain thinks
that's how
in
you
templates.
Think.
Yeah, that's my brain thinks in templates. When I see a situation, I'm this template, that just comes up, right? And I want to share that. I want to share that
something
with
that you're naturally inclined towards.
Yeah, so it just happens. But I feel entertainment is something that I like doing. So I want to make people laugh, and I enjoy when someone comments on the post saying, "Hey, this is so funny. I laughed really hard at this, and this is so relatable." So that's my most favorite comment, right? When someone says this is so relatable, because I really want to communicate things, especially in an office environment, in a funny way. And the underlying purpose is that when you communicate a message through humor, you look at it in a completely different lens, right? For example, the reason I do my videos is that you say a lot of stupid, silly, unrelated things in office meetings, thinking it's normal. But then when you make fun of it and then, I'll play it back to you, you realize that, okay, this is how stupid I look when I say all these things. And I want to communicate that message because I want to break those bad habits. Like, we do a lot of things because that's how people have done it all the time. So it's not necessary that, we have to do it that way. So I just want to put that message out there. So the underlying why I do that is I want to break these bad habits and communicate that. Yeah. So super ops. And then what happened towards the end? Yeah. Pandemic, right? So during the pandemic, I realized that when I'm at home and I have a lot of time, I get to create a lot more. And I fell in love with creating things. So, when the pandemic got over and then we start going back to office, I somehow realized that, okay, I want to do something by myself and I want to be independent. And at that time, Super Meme had already started generating revenue. So I was getting money from Super Meme, which proved a point that you necessarily don't have to be in a full-time job for you to make a living. So that's when I realized I had proof. So I did not start that journey with the thought of quitting in mind. But then knowing that you can make money on the internet and lead a life with that gave me confidence. So gave me confidence to say you can do things by yourself.
But who paid you first? Like, did you go find a customer or how did that happen?
Okay, so the first customer that we had, his name is Nelson, and he found us on LinkedIn. So far we have about 350 customers for Super Meme, and we don't know any of them personally. All of them find us, all of them like the product, all of them just pay for it. And once they stop using it, they stop paying and then just move on, right? So the product is kind of it is not a product that you would buy and use for the rest of your life. You'll use it for a short duration and then you'll move on. And we're completely fine with it. So we didn't do anything explicit to go find customers, but what helped to us, all three of us had a strong personal brand. So I think put together back then, we would have had 50,000 followers across Twitter and LinkedIn among the three of us. I think right now it'd probably be 100,000. So those audience, that audience helped us reach that critical mass of, okay, this is a cool product. And remember, this is before ChatGPT, right? So there is no, today we have every day you have 15, 20 tools launching and then you have hundreds of tools on Product Hunt. So this is before all that. So it was interesting and people kind of organically spread the tool. And once ChatGPT launched and the whole hype around AI tools increased, we just rode that wave because we are
any
early.
tool with .ai is like a thing.
So we just completely rode that way. So we would get mentioned on Twitter a lot. We'll say top 7 AI tools to check out. And even today, on YouTube, you'll find top 10 interesting AI tools to watch out for. Because as a concept, it's very interesting. Okay, AI can create memes. And I think the next part is, it's not just a concept. We proved it, right? if you go into super meme and you put in a situation, you will find a meme that you can use. So it's not just a fancy concept. It is an actual value adding product. Like if you're trying to grow your social media audience through memes and you're not able to create memes, you can use super meme to do that. So it's not like you can just go and have a laugh and walk away. Right? It actually adds value. I think that's the difference between having like a fun product and having a product with that revenue intention in mind. So you have to be very intent about like, creating a product that makes money.
Yeah. And what a customer looks for when they purchase the when they decide to purchase your product. What's the
So
exact pain point are you solving? Just
sure.
curious.
Sure. So Supermeme primarily targets two or three different personas, right? So first one is a marketer. A marketer is a very broad term, but basically anyone who's trying to
Get attention.
attract, attract audience and bring attention to their product or service. And they do that in multiple ways, right? Like they can do that through social media, they can do that through paid ads, they can do that through outbound marketing, and memes can help anywhere. Like all these places are a good use case for a meme marketing channel. The other one that was kind of surprising to us was educators, like teachers and presenters and course creators who want to bring that humor angle into their content, into their educational content to make it interesting for their audience. So that was an interesting one. And the way that we found out about that was I was getting a lot of bounce backs from the emails that we were being sent. And I was curious, like, why is this happening? And I went and checked. And I saw that there was a lot of .edu domains that are signing up for SuperMeme, and we were not allowed to email them because of their restriction. That's when I realized that there's a lot of people from educational institutions signing up for SuperMeme because they want to use this in their lectures. And I also had a few people message me on LinkedIn saying that I used one of your memes in my lecture today, and then we found it very useful and we found it engaging. So that's when I realized, okay, this is a legit use case. So these are the two primary people who sign up for Supermeme, and this is the outcome that they're expecting.
When did you actually quit your job and moved completely to Supermeme?
It was end of 2022. So it was the end of 2022.
And by the time, how was the company?
I think by the time Supermeme was making about like $2,500. So yeah, I would probably be making like $700 per month.
Yeah.
And obviously I had a little bit of support from from my freelancing projects. I was already also doing freelancing projects, which is also creating memes, by the way. So I was helping brands with memes. So I would be the meme creator. Like I would actually go in and create memes for them. So I knew that between freelancing and the revenue that Supermeme generate, I can manage. Like I can still manage to do this for a while. And yeah, even now I balance it both. Like for example, I do videos for other companies. I create videos for them. So with those projects and with Supermeme, I can I can manage. So that confidence I have.
Interesting. So like I said to you already, the main reason for us to just sit and talk here is to let people know that whatever weird interest that you have, you can actually, monetize that interest in whatever the way that you are comfortable with. Like, for example, with your story, it's just interested in memes. You were into product. You just combined. It is something like in other, spectrums. If you can do it, if someone has like a normal, aspiration, then I think it's easy to convert that aspiration into a product or a business.
Yes, and my video is also an example, right? Where I create satire videos because I love humor. So I create videos which makes fun of product management. So because of the combination, like someone selling product management software can use that content. So they would pay me for that content. And this is not what I started with, right? I did not start posting videos with the intention that, okay, I'm going to make money from this. But when you combine unrelated things and people find it interesting, eventually the opportunity to monetize that will also open up.
But it's not unrelated for you, right? It's only unrelated for the for the others. For you, it's all related.
For me, because it's all living in my head, and I always use Dilbert's example. Right? So Dilbert is a comic series, which basically is a comic series about office situations created by Scott Adams. So Scott Adams said that he's not the best artist, he's not the funniest person on the world, and he doesn't have the most distribution, but because he's able to bring all these things together in an unexpected way, he gets that distribution, he gets that reach because people don't expect it there.
So authenticity is what again? matters. You could have done something else, right? Like, hey, I think I'm good at memes. Maybe I just go do something with just memes instead of you
Yeah.
just combine what
Like
you
the
know.
logical step would be maybe I'll start a meme page. I will
Yeah.
just like monetize that, which is also actually a good business. I was surprised to find out how much money those pages make. But yeah, it's about me, right? Like what do I want to do? I want to communicate. And also a lot of these memes are just personal. It was just ranting, right? It's just me ranting. It's a way of expression for me. So a lot of times, the reason I created those memes about office situations is that I personally went through that and I felt strongly about it. So it is not like creating memes wasn't the only intention. The intention also was to express myself.
Okay. Before even we start recording, you said like you can actually turn your ideas into SaaS and you don't have to do or you don't need the capital or you don't need a developer for that. So basically without capital, you can build your SaaS is what you claim, which I want to address. How do you do it? Because I know the concept of, code having a huge leverage. And I knew like for the last 2, 3 years that if I have an idea and that has a potential to reach more people and there I have the leverage, there I can make money. But then I just could not implement any of the ideas that I had because the only reason I was not able to do is I don't have the coding knowledge. How do you convince me to implement an idea? Because don't be a hypocrite. You just said that it's possible, but then you have a co-founder
I
who's a
have go
developer. So I'm
Okay.
not accusing, but then like
No,
how do
no.
you even you are talking about if you want to do something next as a next project, you would want to do it alone, is what you said. How would you
Yep.
go about doing that? And if some developer or someone who's a non-tech person who want to get into SaaS or implement their idea, how will they go about implementing it without having a coding knowledge? If at all they want to learn, how do they do it?
Yeah, let me pull up. Actually, bro, 1 second. I'm gonna pull up. I mean, I'm not gonna present, but I have
Okay,
some
you can
notes.
present, it's fine.
Serious, Ava.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I have like in the exact question address
Enlighten
பண்றதுக்கே
me.
ஒரு deck இருக்கு. And like see, this is an opportunity for me to convince so many people. So I just want to make sure that I do it right.
Yeah, because I also understand that you can't like sacrifice everything and then get to the result. Like you need to put in some effort.
கண்டிப்பா. Like
But
obviously,
and the
and that.
effort on the if not code, then what is the compromise are we
Okay.
supposed to do?
Super. So yeah, see that question is something that I really want to answer, and I want to convince you. And I'm glad that we're only talking about this in this recording because I want to do this properly. So
By the
I'll
way, for the
talk about.
audience, this is not
Mhm.
planned. I just
Yeah.
randomly asked this question to him and he already has a deck. Yeah.
So, like, see, your question is simple, right? How do you do this without capital and, without co-founders? So, to address this, I'm going to go one step earlier. We believe a lot of things about software building, and that is the reason that we think, okay, I cannot build software without a technical person, or I cannot build software without money. I cannot build software without a large team, and that's something that I used to believe in also. The thing is, in the last 2 years, so many things have changed that it is now possible. And I'm not the only person saying it. Sam Altman is a co-founder of OpenAI. So he said a one-person billion-dollar company is possible, and that's huge, right? Like that's a huge possibility, and that's the possibility that I'm excited about. A single person sitting in front of a computer, building software, selling it, can make a life from it. And there are so many examples on Twitter who are people are making like if not billion, they're making thousands of dollars. They're like making enough to afford business class flights. They're making enough to afford like a luxury stay in like in Asian countries. So it is a life changing amount, and
Are they not
that
a tech
possibility
savvy already?
they are, and that's why I'm saying it's like the developers have got there first. People who know how to build software have gotten there first. So it is, and see, it's not like they're born developers, right? They are, and some of them are turned developers. And if you go into some of their stories, they would have learned how to code at some point, but they were not developers by profession. So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
learned a skill that they were able to monetize.
Yeah, they just want to
So
solve the problem and they thought, let me just learn and do it myself.
yeah, which is the path that I am on as well. So I want to establish that yes, all of this used to be true, right? Like you needed a large team to build software. You needed at least 1 year to prove a concept for an MVP. You needed to have you need to have them all together in a single room if you want to build software with them. And like where the antithesis of that. Really, we've not even met each other and we're doing this on WhatsApp. And you had to spend a lot on marketing. And you need to do like, market research. And all of this used to be true, but they're not true anymore. So here's like a quick flow. I'm not going to like, go through the deck, but then here's like a quick 5-step. If you're a non-developer, here's what you can do. Like the first step is you validate. Yeah, all my decks have me. So first step that you do is you validate. You figure out if your idea is working on. How can you do that? You talk to your audience. Like, you post on Reddit, you do some indirect validation, not getting too deep into that. Second step is you build an MVP. See, the concept of MVP is again evolving, right? An MVP is something that used to take 2 years in a world where building technology was very hard to come down to 3 months. Right now, MVPs are built in hours, like not even days, right? MVPs are built in hours because it's so much easy to build software. One more truth that we have to acknowledge is the barrier to learning how to code and barrier to building software using code has come down significantly with the AI-assisted coding. Like for the last 2 days, I've been like, sitting with AI tools and building like stuff. Obviously, it's very hard because I don't know how to code, but it's possible. Like I am able to get a version out. And if I just keep doing this, I'm sure I'll get to a point where I can build software just by myself, right? So I know that because I'm experiencing it right now. The second step is you just get to an MVP. And this MVP doesn't have to be code. Like, if you're a non-tech person, okay, I understand that not everyone wants to learn how to code. But what else can you do, right? You can do design. Like you don't even need to know Figma. You can just get on Google Slides. Like, in fact, I have a Google slide for SuperMeme, which is just full of UI screens, right? I do my UI design on Google Slides. You can do that. And you can do a website where you are just communicating your idea and trying to get people to buy into it, get pre-orders. So one thing that I have for MVP is that if you're able to make money with MVP, which means people are trusting your idea to say, I'm in on this. Like, I trust you with my money on this, then you're onto something. If not, you have to go back to the drawing board and iterate again, which means that, okay, we are probably not in the right area. See, this, I have a slide with where me and Ramsey connected, right? Because this is what I built on no code tools. And this got me here and this got me to where I am today. And one more thing for a non-tech founder is that, see, I understand that you cannot build the software yourself, but you can do enough things to find a co-founder. So that's also a legit path. Like if you're a non-tech founder, instead of just trying to find co-founders with your idea, try to find co-founders with your MVP.
Yeah.
Like have an MVP, put it out there, you will attract the right people. You will attract the right people who want to work with you. So this is also a path. Let's say you don't want to know how to code. That's okay. But don't try to spam your idea to people and then try to, convince them to be part of you.
While you're saying this, I get emails saying that I have this $1 billion idea. I'm looking for investment. Is that how you pitch your idea? You've not told your idea only.
Yeah. Like what is the incentive? And that's what I see happening. People will be like, I have this idea. I'm looking for a technical person to collaborate. It's like, why would someone
not just an idea? It's a $1 billion idea.
Brilliant idea. Like it's in this
$1 billion idea.
Like it's in the fintech space. Like, so what? So what if it's in the fintech space? Like, who cares? So what happens when you build, like as a non-tech person, when you build even something as simple as a UI, you're already convincing people. You're also showing that I put in my effort. Like, I'm serious about this, which is what Ramsey told me. Ramsey said, see, you don't know how to code, but you went and built something. Like you learned how to do something and build it. So that is proof of work. Like once you have proof of work, you will attract the right kind of co-founders. So you will get them to you.
And also, like, he also cannot just join with any random dude, right?
Yes.
He should get the assurance that, hey, he is also super serious.
Correct.
That's why he had already put in some work. So maybe I can just help him. Otherwise, he'd be like, who's this guy? Just, everybody has idea. Why would I even consider this?
See, at that point, it's not in help, right? It's an opportunity because we have complementary skills. See, when, let's say as a non-tech person, obviously, assuming that you have non-tech skills, a tech person will find it in their benefit to collaborate with you. But then you have to give them a reason. That's where the MVP or that effort of building it comes. So when you say build software, today there are ways to build software without knowing how to code. No-code tools are amazing. As much as I'm a proponent of, I would rather learn how to code, but you can build basic usable stuff to prove your concept. So no-code tools work really well in that way. So yeah, you can do that. And yeah, then you get to build, right? Like, where once your MVP is validated and then you have some money, And see, I'm giving you both paths. Let's say your MVP is validated. As a solo person, you go deep. You go deep, learn how to do that. And it's possible. You, like a complete newbie in coding, can go on, like, ChatGPT, Claude, and all these tools. It's gonna be a struggle, but then you can do it. Like I'm going through that right now. Or if you have found your co-founders, just, like, go build that. And yeah, this is like from our first call, like, where we got on a call, and then we were just, like, talking, and then you launch. Yeah, and then you grow, and all of this is possible even as a solo person, right? I'm pivoting everything to solo because I want to show that what the path looks like. So, like, you can be on Twitter, you can be on Reddit, you can be on LinkedIn, and you can invest in traditional SaaS marketing strategies. For example, SEO. Like, you can grow your brand without even having a social media profile, right? So a lot of people think that, okay, it's easy for them because they already had a following. Yeah, having a following helps, but it doesn't mean that if you don't
They'll
have a
pay you,
following,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, even
and
having
yeah,
a
that's
quality
also
followers doesn't mean that they'll just pay you,
true.
because what if it doesn't solve their problem?
Yeah, you'll get likes, you'll get shares, but you'll get zero revenue. So that's also going to happen. But what you have to realize is that you don't need a following to grow a business. You need marketing strategies, and it's easy for one person to implement. Like, you can do simple content marketing to grow your SEO. Again, you can depend on, like, SEO tools for that. Like, for example, you can do product and launches. You can do, like, Reddit posts where you're actually helping audience. Like, you can go and actually talk about the problem that you solve. Like, for example, with Super Meme, I am a meme marketing expert. Like, companies pay me to do memes for their marketing, which means I have authority in that space. So you can do that. Like, if you're building a product in a space, just build authority on the topic and you become known for the topic. And obviously, once you become known for the topic, people will want to buy your product. So it's a journey. And you can do this by yourself. You don't need budget, you don't need a large marketing team. There are ways to do it. And again, see, the difference is when you're building software by yourself, you don't need millions of dollars in revenue, right? $10,000 to $15,000 monthly revenue is life changing, and that is very much possible. Like, there is enough
Yeah.
money to be made, and that's all you need. So when you
Yeah,
think
that's
about a
10 times
company,
more than average dude's salary.
exactly, right, and that is easy. Like, see, one thing that you have to understand is the whole VC funded companies, the way that they think about revenue, you don't have to think about it like that. But the thing is, that's the only thing that we see, right? We see only, okay, they've hit $3 million in annual revenue. They've hit, like, $100 million. Like, that's great, but then you're not trying to be that. You just need to get to $15,000 to $20,000, and that's hard, but it's possible for one person to do. So, and you can do this by yourself. And if you have a team, great. But then that team doesn't have to be more than 5 people. Right? You don't need a big team. Also, you don't need an office. You don't need to pay rent. You don't need all that. You can do just fine with small teams, right? As a solo founder, and with this whole micro SaaS mindset, right? So what I mean by micro SaaS mindset is when you're building SaaS, which is a slightly complex use case, you're kind of married to the idea for 2-3 years, right? You're spending time with that idea. But then if you're building small, and if you're only solving one problem really well, you also have that optionality where you build 5-6 products, and one of it does well, you can consider exiting just that one product. Like, you can sell that product, you can, like, selling is one way to exit, or you can transfer it, you can do whatever, right? So the idea is that if you change the way you think about building software, and obviously because you've seen only one way of building software, that's all we know. But then if you change the way that you think about building software, a lot more possibilities open up, and you have to unlearn a lot of things. So that's the takeaway. You have to unlearn a lot of things that you know, and then just go build software. It is possible for a solo person, like, the software company. If you don't believe me, believe Sam Altman. He's achieved a lot more than I have, but then he's also saying the same thing.
He's just promoting his agents.
So with that, I conclude my TED talk.
That was nice. Um,
So are you
actually,
convinced?
now I'm already in the path of, I cannot just search for people just to see whether my idea is working or not. I've spent a lot of time doing that. Now I'm already in a place where, hey, there's no other option. Like, my mind is bombarded with a lot of ideas. Even if I just, like, if I, let's say you are my developer friend, right? I cannot make you implement or make you develop 10 different ideas.
Correct.
It's too taxing.
Yeah.
So right now I'm in a point where, okay, if at all I want to implement an idea to see if it's working or not, there's no other way that If not me, I cannot rely on anybody.
So see, again, I'll tell you like even more tactical things, right? So if you're a non-developer trying to learn how to code, try Replit. Replit is a place where you can, they already have templates, and with one click you can deploy. See, the biggest problem for developers, like non-developers, is that you can code, but then you don't know how to get it online, and you don't know how to do all the
Yeah,
deployment
this
stuff.
GitHub and all.
Yeah,
I
so
just hate that
Replit.
word.
So Replit takes care of that for you. So like go to Replit. Replit also has an AI code editor. Another thing that you can try is go to Cursor. Cursor is a like code editor like Visual Studio, but Cursor is AI native. So you can literally chat with your code base to say, I want a web page with like left nav with an input box. You can just tell it anything. It'll create that for you. And the advantage of Cursor is that it knows your code base already. So it will also tell you when you have errors. It'll also tell you when, like, what you need. So you can literally do this trial and error, trial and error. And you do this for a long enough time, you will know what you're doing.
Yeah. So
That is
it's
one
about
option.
prompting, right?
Yeah, it is about prompting, right? It is, for me, this is also a slightly longer route. If you want to learn how to code, go find a developer friend, pay them, say that, hey, I'm giving you so much money. I want you to teach me how to code. See, the reason I say pay them is when you pay someone, the accountability automatically increases both ways.
Yeah.
So pay them. That's what I'm also doing. I'm doing everything possible. I'm taking courses. I'm paying my developer friends to teach me. I'm doing AI coding. So I really want to crack this because the opportunity on the other side, like I cannot imagine that one person sitting in front of a computer can earn $100,000 by building software. I want in, right? Like I really want to be part of that. So that's the reason that I'm doing that. So what I am trying to do with this, and I also run my own microSaaS community, and what I'm trying to do all that is make people see this opportunity because it feels too good to be true. It feels like, okay, like how can one person build software in the first place, and then even if I do, how am I going to make $100,000? It's possible.
Because the code has inherently the leverage thing attached. The
Yep.
only thing that is stopping are you actually solving someone's problem or not. As long as
That
it
has to,
happens.
yeah, that has to come from within. So that's that. If let's say you don't get that right, then doesn't matter if you have funding or it's not going to go well, right? You have to solve the right problems for people to pay. So that has to happen.
Even I tried Claude also,
Hmm?
but then it just throws some error. I just could not
See,
fix that error also. I'm like, fuck it. I don't want
you need, yeah, you need a lot of patience. And yeah, I just tweeted like a week back, right? If you're a non-developer trying to use AI tools to learn how to code, you be prepared to run around in circles. Like you will go tell something and then that'll create something else and then that'll cause another problem. So that all that will happen. But it is so much better than you going on Stack Overflow and searching for issue, or you just being stuck with it for hours. So right now I can guarantee that if you spend enough time, you will crack it. The time is the problem. Like no one has 6 hours, 7 hours every day to just be at it, but it is possible. And I wouldn't say this 5 years back. Right? I wouldn't say that if you're a non-developer, if you spend time, you can solve it in 5 years. But now it's possible. You have time and money, you're fine. Yeah, when I say money, it's for obviously cloud subscription or courses, stuff like that. Like don't be afraid to spend money on that because I think that's definitely worth it. But it is possible. It is very much possible.
Any developer watching, yeah, just DM me. I have cool ideas. Let's just implement. That's one way to reduce time.
Yeah, that's true. See, finding a co-founder is the best case scenario, right? Finding a co-founder, and I got insanely lucky with Ramshree and Nico. Like we have a very clear relationship. Like we talk on the WhatsApp group. We don't even know. So there is no room for any politics. There is no room for any ego. So it is almost like a life, well set here. That is a best case scenario. But for me, that is the chance of that happening is too low.
Yeah, it is.
So
I
am betting on myself where I have full control. Like, see, even with Ramshree and Nico, right? I am going to get uncomfortable beyond a point to try out experiments because I know that they're busy. I have to value their time. So if I'm coming up with unconventional ideas, I will not have that 100% freedom to go say, let's try this if it's time consuming. But if I'm the one doing it, I have full freedom and I can do the craziest possible things. And if one of these things work, then the returns are going to be extremely high.
Yeah. You just have to win once.
So yeah, that's my path, and that's what I want to convince a lot of people to do as well.
And what are you thinking about Super Meme? Are you what's the plan for it? And because since you're already trying to learn things on your own, and obviously it's for future projects. What's the plan for Super Meme and how do you go about it?
Okay. So the way I think about Microsoft projects is they're short-term projects, right? So like I have this comparison between movies and Microsoft. The reason I say that is this gives you freedom to go work on multiple things. Like an artist would be able to work on multiple projects, and then you give some project dedicated time between, like, let's say 3 months, 6 months. After that, the project is going to earn for you. Like, let's say once you've done one movie, that movie is going to give you recognition for a very long time. And just getting that one movie together is going to be, so that's what we had at Superman. We had an intense period of time where we are building software. And then we have sprints in between where we come together for one feature. And after that, it's on autopilot. So that's how I think about software
So
also.
it's like
where
you're trying to build asset.
yeah, it is an asset. Yeah, it is an asset that requires some maintenance. So it doesn't require. But if, let's say, you are building this as a proper SaaS with funding and, like, with like a proper roadmap to IPO, then you cannot sleep. Like, you cannot do anything else. You have to constantly chase features, growth. See, Super Meme eventually will just stop needing growth. Will stop needing new features. Right now, it is at a point where it can generate memes. It can generate memes really well, and that's the only thing that it will do well. Like, maybe we'll expand to video. Maybe we'll add an angle of, let's say, community memes where anyone can come in and add templates. So there are variants of it, but at its core, Super Meme will not evolve into something else. It will not evolve into a social media management tool. It will not evolve into, let's say, a comic generation tool. Like, it will exist as a meme generation tool, and it will do that well. So there are only so many things that you can do with meme generation, right? So we will obviously keep doing and building something, but I want that freedom to work on multiple projects. That's the reason that, and that's how Ramshree feels, that's how Nico feels. All of us are doing things on the side. So this will always be there. But so we are not married to one idea. The skill is what we're kind of, taking with us.
Got it. Interesting. If people are super interested in this topic, maybe I'll torture you to get few of your friends to connect with me. So
Kandipa. Like SaaS, and dude, it's two-way, right? Like, they'll be happy to connect with you. Interesting to your audience as well. We can do lots of things.
Yeah, let's see. Even if it's not interesting, let me do it like 5 to 6 videos.
Kandipa. Like, anything in SaaS, I'm happy to help. So like, how do we close this out?
Yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for joining. Wonderful talking to you.
Awesome, Rahul. Thank you.
It's nice that we got to talk a lot that we did not talk last time. Yeah, now I'm like thinking, okay, I should, visit the 100 days no code challenge again.
Yes, there are like, I would push people to actually code. It's a steeper learning curve, but it's so worth it. See, even I'm not on the other side yet, right? I'm still climbing that mountain, but
no, I already have like some experience because I used to like do few little projects in Flutter. Those were the times I used to think I wanted to be a mobile app developer. I used to wake up at 5 a.m. and all.
Okay.
Yeah, I have like some knowledge on how to write code.
Yeah, I had those days also. Like in Freshworks, when I joined as pre-sales, there was a time when I told my manager that I want to be a developer because I enjoy doing that. But you realize that launching an entire app end-to-end is not the same. Like, it's a lot of work. But again, I'm telling you, AI-assisted coding has made it a lot easier. So you will still struggle, but then you don't have to struggle that much. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Sanjeev. I hope we'll connect. Kandipa, let me know if there's a demand. Yes, for sure, bro. Super. I really had fun on this conversation. Yeah, the slide was unexpected, but yeah, it was interesting. I have slides for everything. Okay, cool, Sanjeev. Super. All right, Rahul, Papa. Yeah, bye-bye.